Hello everyone, and welcome to my Y&R Homies channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Truce between Sharon and Phyllis breaks down, while Nick and Daniel conceal something from Billy. As they go into society, Sally and Billy discuss how difficult it was to leave Paris. As they share a kiss, Sally notices Audra. She welcomes them home as they join her. They tell her that their time was fantastic. Audra wonders, what kind of trouble has she gotten herself into now, as Billy leaves to check on Phyllis. Billy claims that she has just stopped talking for a short time. Sally complains that she phoned him 1,000 times, so it was a godsend. They have a lot of work to do, according to Billy. Billy gives Sally a kiss while Audra moves aside to answer a phone call. "We'll talk later." Audra questions whether they're becoming serious as she rejoins Sally. Although Sally is unsure, it's unique. Audra is interested in Paris. Sally claims that her trip was the happiest of her life, despite Phyllis' interruptions. "I'm content." Audra claims that since Adam burnt her, she deserved it. She inquires as to her thoughts about Billy rushing out there to find Phyllis. Although Sally dislikes Phyllis, she and Billy get along well at work. It hasn't always worked out, according to Audra. Billy informed her that Abbott communications will be different, according to Sally. When the conversation shifts to Audra, her companion remarks that she only needs a chance. They talk about Billy giving up on Victor. For once, Audra would have wanted to see the moustache fall. Victor never loses, according to Sally, and she's happy Billy understood it. This is something she truly wants for Billy. She can handle it if Phyllis is the necessary evil. She is warned by Audra that the woman is a troublemaker. Sally inquires about Audra and Nate's relationship. "Very solid," she remarks, "but there is some drama with his new sibling." She tells her buddy about Amy and Damien. Seeing her rejected by her kid is sad. Sally understands how Amy truly affects Audra. She acknowledges that their growing intimacy has softened her. "I swear you won't laugh. Nate and I are beginning to feel more and more like a small family the more time we spend with Amy. I've never seen that before. There are occasions when the three of them are alone in the morning." Sally bursts into tears. Hearing her discuss this is lovely. Audra's hope is that this will end happily. Holden enters at the same moment. Sally observes the glance that passes between him and Audra. Phyllis and Sharon call a truce. Sharon and Phyllis share a couch bed in the mental institution. An alarm goes off as they are hugging. They appear stunned and leap apart when they wake up. Phyllis says it's 7 a.m. and turns off the alarm. They have been reset once more when she checks the phone. Sharon is not taken aback. Was she under the impression that the voice would allow them to call anyone? Phyllis keeps calling the voice strange as they argue. Phyllis is asked by Sharon whether she believes the individual spent the entire night there. Perhaps they shut off the phones and sneaked in when they were sleeping. Phyllis laments that she must have coffee before responding to inquiries. The coffee machine on the table suddenly begins to brew. Sharon chuckles. Whatever this is, it has been well considered and prepared beforehand. They are curious about what will happen next. What is today's game? When Phyllis pours her coffee, Sharon is concerned that it may be tainted. Nothing, according to Phyllis, could make this situation any stranger. She is willing to take risks. She lets out a happy sigh, gulps it down, and hands some to Sharon. She says no. Phyllis advises her to concentrate on the now and quit worrying about the future. Otherwise, they won't be able to go. Sharon just didn't realize she had been drinking for months. "That must have been rough," admits Phyllis. This occurred just when Sharon was beginning to feel normal again. "Which would you prefer, milk or sugar?" Phyllis asks as she offers her coffee. Why is she suddenly being so kind to her, wonders Sharon. They must stop sniping, according to Phyllis. Their shared history is connected to the game. When she chooses to be a true human being, Sharon sneers. Phyllis warns her that they would never be able to escape this situation unless she meets her halfway. Sharon concurs. For a time, it will be pleasant to be free of her animosity. When they go, Phyllis will return to her previous state, but in the meanwhile, they collaborate. Sharon concurs. The voice asks if they're prepared to play the game as the loud bell sounds. They question what comes next because they're prepared. There is a notification sound coming from the phones. I bubble and flow, dark and gooey, but there's acid behind the sweetness, Sharon reads as she takes up hers. So easy, scoffs Phyllis. The fountain of chocolate. They discuss their quarrel that turned into a brawl over chocolate. Because Sharon chose Adam above her kids, Phyllis penned an article in restless style accusing her of being a horrible mother. Phyllis has always been a saint, laughs Sharon. After that, she says she's sorry for shoving her into the fountain. It was immature, and she regrets it. She shouldn't have dragged her into the chocolate immediately after her, Phyllis realizes. They joke about smelling like candy bars for weeks after that and concur that it's nice that they've grown up since then. Perhaps that's why we're here, Phyllis wonders. Must shift their attention from all of the pointless things they have done to one another to the larger picture. She asks Sharon whether she has ever considered the reasons behind their intense animosity. Sharon believes that's clear. Nick. Phyllis gives a nod. Daniel observes Nick's concern. Daniel and Nick analyze the notes from Sharon and Phyllis' phone calls at Crimson Lights. Daniel feels a sense of relief. They are now aware that everything is okay and they need not worry. Yeah, replies Nick. Daniel acknowledges his lack of conviction. According to Nick, the entire situation doesn't make sense to him. The fact that Sharon refused to speak with Faith and Mariah struck him as strange. Sharon would be aware that the girls would become agitated if she were gone for even 5 minutes because they had just gone through hell. Daniel reflects that Phyllis didn't call both of them, only Summer. Nick thinks it's strange that they both went missing and then simultaneously called home. Daniel hopes Nick is wasting his time worrying over nothing. For Nick, it's too convenient and clean. Both of them made burner phone calls and decided to depart without bidding farewell to their loved ones simultaneously. Regarding these two, he doesn't think it's good. They decide not to share their suspicions. According to Daniel, Phyllis asked Summer not to tell Billy about her trip. Billy enters and joins them at that moment. They discuss his new business. Phyllis told Nick, which surprised Billy. He vows to remain silent and is unconcerned that it will put Newman Media in competition. Daniel once more expresses gratitude to Billy for the chance. He aspires to leave his imprint and is happy to be on the squad. He wants to speak with Phyllis as soon as possible, so he asks if Daniel has heard from her. Where on earth is she? Billy laments the fact that Phyllis isn't answering his calls. Nick claims she's having phone issues. Daniel agrees. Billy can tell something is going on, he needs to know what it is. Daniel hedges that his mother left town. Summer stated she was attempting to surprise him with some business agreements. Billy doesn't like the sound of this. He thinks Nick is anxious that there's more going on than they're telling him. Nick assures Billy that Phyllis will show up soon and says he has to go. Once alone, Billy tells Daniel that he and Nick were acting like a couple of scared teenagers. Where the hell is your mom? He screams about Phyllis informing Nick about the firm and now she's out conducting meetings without him knowing about it. He will keep phoning her. Daniel agrees to call him if he hears from her first. Later, Nick arrives at the GCAC and leaves a message on Sharon's burner phone. He lets her know he's spoken to the girls, who would really love to hear from her. I would, too. Holden informs Sally that he and Audra are longtime friends from Los Angeles at Crimson Lights. Audra can tell her that he is there for work. He talks up the breakfast burrito and Audra snaps that they were having a private conversation. Holden trots off to the bar. Asking her friend, what was that about? Sally Audra tells her Holden is Damien's right-hand man. Sally thinks this is crazy given Audra has a connection to him. Audra says it gets crazier. He pretended to be Damien when he first got to town. She acknowledges that she initially kept it from Nate. Sally believes he's more than just an old buddy. Audra shrugs, we had a brief relationship. She was only hoping he'd go away. She came clean with Nate, and he was gracious and understanding. Sally asks whether she told Nate everything. Hedging, Audra says, mostly. She admits it was more intense than just a couple of dates. She saw no reason to get into that with her boyfriend. But you are going to have to fill me in, Sally understands. How did Audra and Holden meet? Sally asks. She says he helped her out of a jam with some pushy music industry people. She kept the fact that they began dating after that a secret from Nate. In the beginning, they had some wonderful moments. It was exciting, glamorous, until it wasn't. Audra admits that things got a little intense, scary. Holden liked to live on the edge and kept pushing the boundaries until she had to cut things off with him.